Okay, hi squirrel mates. So I just came back from church. I'm going to be filming my December wrap up, little story time, but I got to see my pastor from youth there and that was so cool. And she has been in Dominican for like 10 years, but she comes back every so often because that like the work that she's doing is literally for the church and in the Dominican, like for my parents' church that I go to. But I don't go to that church currently because I go to the church in Barrie, which is like 45-minute drive. Anyway, and it's in a bigger town. It was just so nice to see her. She's so relevant. She's still the same person she was, and she's so sorry. People are sneezing. Okay, a lot of people in this household have colds, and my parents' friends have colds, so I just it's great. I haven't got a cold yet, but hopefully not. Okay, so my December wrap up. I actually put this in the Woman in White. I did put this in, like I had it in my November reading books I wanted to read, but I couldn't get to it in November, so I put it into December. So it's a mystery book, and I thought I really liked it. I really want to read more premier classics because this is the premier classic of mystery books, classics in different genres this year. So I know I did say in my last video I wanted to read more classics, so maybe this would be a good option to read more classics to, yeah, the premier edition of like that. Yeah, and again, I was gonna read this in November, but then I didn't have time. So One of Us is Lying. Okay, so people were like talking real hype about this, and I didn't know it's actually one of her older books. It was just too young for me to kind of like enjoy it to the fullest extent, where if it had more of a gripper plot twist or storyline, character development, that kind of thing, then I think I would like it better, but I don't know. It was okay. I just wish I didn't pay full price for it because everyone's saying it's so good. But I also read all of her newer books, like Cousins. I read You'll Be the Death of Me. I've read Who Can Keep Her Secret. And then everyone was talking about this book, and it's actually going to be a show as well. And I could see why people were saying it's like Pretty Little Liars, but I wish I could erase those memories from my brain, to be honest. It's like so kind of dumb, to be honest. Like the things in that show. Anyway, yeah. So it is similar. I can see that, but it's more of a younger version of that. So and then actually I read the sequel, and it was a lot better to it. I hope that they actually like incorporate the sequel more than they do the first book, because it wasn't, honestly, it was kind of unnecessary. Like the first book, like it was good, but it didn't really, it should have been less pages, or they should have like developed more to the story, because the second book had more of that, and it's actually shorter. So I feel that, I don't know, this book had more substance to it, as in like development, character development, plot twist, everything. And then I read The Lost, and that definitely didn't disappoint, because that was really good. And actually, I thought it was a very, like the front cover seems very like it was in the horror section of my thrift store, and I was like, that sounds it looks a little scary. But actually it's not. Like it's eerie in its own way, but not like in this thing that you expect it to be on like the cover. So don't judge a book by its cover, people. It goes with these two girls, and it goes about these two girls, and they're trying to figure out who keeps getting lost throughout the like Christmas holiday, Christmas like break-ish area. So it actually was kind of relatable in like December, so I kind of glad I read it in December. So spoiler alert, is that they get taken from these people that are kidnapping these girls, and they're very much like serial kidnappers, and then also like actually serial killers as well, because they will take these girls and like a specific look to these girls. That's why I say like serial killer. They had the look of those girls too. They go to this, and I think that's why they have the chair on it actually, I just thought that now, is that they have to go to all these rooms, and they have to then do certain tasks for that room, but it's like a horrible task. Like it's, I don't want to like give it away too much, but it is just really scary, and it's like different elements to different things in the world that would be terrifying to any human. Yeah, so they have 5 rooms, and then they try to escape a few times, but like it's a very much of like psychological, this book, more than actual, like it is physical too, like abuse, but it's more like a psychological mind game. Okay, so The Crown's Game. Yeah, so I'm trying to get into fantasy more, but fantasy, I did read the whole thing, but the fantasy, like it's good. Not saying it wasn't bad, but it was good world building. It was good character development, and it's just not my type of world that I like per se. But I mean, I should have just gone into it thinking that I know it's a fantasy book. So, and I did enjoy like the actual like development of the plot. Like I like that aspect of it. The characters were good too, but like the world building, it was like, I don't know, not for me, because I think it's because like the actual fantasy aspects of it itself. So it was, yeah, I liked it. It was probably like 3 stars for me. So then Blackout, it was good. It did have aspects that I felt like the pandemic. So I don't know. I try not to read a lot of books like this, because I don't know if they have like a lot of things that people are getting like viruses from or whatever, diseases, and then they are like getting swept, like the whole country or whatever is getting swept out, then it's just like, no, it's like a few years ago. I have a little bit of a cringe, and I can't really read much more, but it was very good overall, that one. And then The Tempest by William Shakespeare. And okay, so I'm trying to read more like classics and different things, but I did DNF this because I couldn't keep reading it because I just couldn't mentally get my head around it. So comment down below about like what other Shakespearean books or plays, things like that I should read that actually will I will get, because I think I got to Act 3 and I was just like, I'm done. Like I can't. I mean, I'll try again in another bit, but I didn't really have that long to go, honestly. But I don't know, just like every page you have to really like wrap your hand around. The Lost Girls of Paris. So I have read it before, so it is a reread, and I feel like I got more out of it this time than the last time. And I suggest you, if you really like mystery books and historical fiction books, then like those genres, then I suggest you read this because it will not disappoint you. It's a work of art. So Children of Eden. This is a reread. I feel like I'm Chantel, but I didn't even mean to be like Chantel. Reads all day, because she did a lot of rereading in the month of December. So yeah, just kind of happened like that. This is the first book in the trilogy by Joey Garcefa, and he's a YouTuber. I think I might read them all because I really, really like the main character and just her experiences in the world of Eden. Very interesting. And world building is amazing in this book, and I highly suggest it just for that, honestly. If you like a good world development and dystopian genre, for sure, definitely read this. And just like the futuristic technology that he creates is like, oh, work of art. So this is actually the order I read them in. The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. So I talked about this in my last video. This is the book that I was talking about, was that I read it in 2020 when it came out. Then I reread it into like this month, obviously. So I think when I first read it, why I gave it 2 stars was because I had it in my mind that, oh, it has to be this character's, like Katniss, all the characters. So I don't know, I guess like the first time I read it, I had in my mind that it should be like that. But they did allude, like they did a lot of, like I didn't realize Suzanne Collins did so much foreshadowing in this book of the like Hunger Games, in the 74th Hunger Games. So crazy. And like it was, I think it was the last page, or the last I think it was epilogue or the last chapter, I can't remember, but Lucy was the main character, one of the main characters. So there's Snow, and it's the first year of the mentoring, and it's the 10th year, so, and he's 18 and he mentors Lucy. She's from District 12, and she reminded me a lot similar to Katniss, but also, I don't know, she was very somewhat personable, but like Katniss was not at all. So, which everyone knows. And she was kind of like Peeta and Katniss mixed together. And also, but she was very much, no one really knew what her like niche of like style of what she was going to do in like the actual games itself, like the Hunger Games itself, until you actually saw her in action. So that was very interesting to see play out, because you kind of already knew with like Katniss and Peeta what exactly they were going to do in like the games, as in you kind of knew the personality and that kind of thing. Like you kind of didn't really know with Lucy what was going to happen as well. So yeah, and so what I was saying was Lucy does allude to Katniss in this book at the end. She talks about how there's they call them, like in her district, like District 12, potato swamp. So it is a certain potato, but then she herself only like calls it Katniss. And then also she sings two of the songs that Katniss always sang when she was growing up. So Hanging Tree, and then another one that she sings with the Capitol. But Lucy's very much a singer. So I think we're going to see that a lot like in this movie coming up, because yeah, Lucy's like constantly singing this book. So I think that's also her niche, but that doesn't really like necessarily help you in the Hunger Games, but that's one of her drawing factors to her character. So I really like that. Definitely gave it 4.5 stars. So the last one was The Skating with Statue of Liberty. So I read this probably in that, like, I don't know, like I kind of read it here and there throughout the month, and I picked it up like when I could, and it was a very hard-hitting story, but it was told in a younger middle grades perspective, so I felt that it wasn't too intense. And then I didn't finish reading 5-Star Billionaire because I'm just not done it. So I think I'm gonna move that over to January. So yeah, those are the books I have for the month of December, and I will see you later, Scrollmates. And this is my first video of 2023.